What's up, folks? What's up, y'all? Y'all let me know, can y'all hear me clearly? I'm not ready to come back on camera yet. Honestly, I've been sitting there waiting for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, giving y'all some time to come into the room. It's taking a bit longer than usual today. I don't know what that's about. I feel like it's not y'all not coming to see. I think that it's y'all not getting notifications like that. We're going to do something about that. For sure. So, y'all, we got a few things to talk about today. The very first thing we're going to talk about is Billie Holiday and the United States versus Billie Holiday. All right. I actually got my mind together and sat down to watch it. And like, you know, was fully enthralled and there the whole time. I don't even think I got up to go pee. Like, I was there the whole time. Okay. And we're going to get into how I felt about it. It's not going to be like a detail. I didn't make any notes, but I'm going to, you know, read y'all synopsis and then we'll talk about a few things. And I'll see what you guys are saying about it, because I know a lot of you guys watched the movie as well. Some of you may not even know who Billie Holiday is, which is upsetting to me. Like, I say it all the time because it was like weird for me to like be such a big fan of Billie Holiday at such a young age. But it's just something that happened. Something about her I always connected with, even like as a child. And when I mean as a child, I mean I could have been like maybe 8 or 9. 8 or 9, the first time I ever heard or saw Billie Holiday. And it was Diana Ross in Lady Sings the Blues. Let me find a picture of that for y'all. Give me a second. I'm still kind of waiting for y'all to mosey on in the room, because I know it's going to be more of y'all by the time I really get good into this damn conversation. So I'm going to wait for you guys. Hold up. Looking for a picture. Looking for a picture. All right. So I'm going to load this picture in, waiting for it to download, because I want y'all to see. I need y'all to have the picture in y'all head. Okay. Hi, I'm here. I'm here. But yeah, we're about to get into everything. So I'm going to play my intro and then we'll get into it now that I have everything I need. And I feel like I've given y'all enough time to get into the room. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Now come on in. Now come. Sorry, y'all. Y'all know I'm weird. Whatever.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue. Okay, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video. Right?
I really like my intro. um, I'm a fan. Thank you, Verbal Slick, for doing that for me. So I will get into it. Okay, 8 or 9. I'm at my aunt's house. We're like looking for something to watch. Just got KFC. We don't eat KFC at my house. The only fried chicken that's made outside the house that we ate at my house was Popeyes. So we're excited, okay? Like KFC chicken, we're excited. And I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. Like I said, Lady Sings the Blues. Like, just look like something that I would want to watch. Y'all, I love the musical movie at the time. Okay. My favorite movies were The Five Heartbeats, What's Love Got to Do with It, The Little Mermaid. Okay. Like Serafina. What else? What else? What else? What else? And A Low Down Dirty Shame. Not as musical, but an excellent soundtrack. Okay. But you see my point here, right? So Lady Sings the Blues was like something I wanted to watch. So my aunt is like, fine. Doesn't matter. I'm like 8 or 9 and probably shouldn't be watching this shit. Fine. We're going to watch Lady Sings the Blues. So we sit down to watch it. And I threw up my KFC by the end of the movie. It is something that I've never forgotten, the feeling that I felt watching Lady Sings the Blues. It's Diana Ross in 1971 playing Billie Holiday. One of like the best roles, you know what I'm saying, that she ever did. And, you know, it was her and Billy D. Williams, and it was romanticized, and there were things that were left out of the story. So there was a lot left to be desired, even though like in the 70s, like a black film with a black leading lady and man. And it's a movie about someone who society has tried to like wrap in their drug addiction. And even for me growing up, I remember going to like some type of huge library with my school. I can't remember where it was. And there was a book about Billie Holiday. And one of the things I remember reading in the book about her was that when she died at 40, she was broke, she was still drug addicted, and she was in the hospital bed with like $1 or $10 or something like that taped to her leg and some heroin, and that all the veins in her arms, in her legs, and in her nether regions had collapsed because of the drug use. So when I read that as a kid, knowing the story and getting sick watching it, I mean, Diana Ross did an amazing job. At the end of the movie, the last scene of the movie is her going into the insane asylum and them wrapping her up in the jacket and her eyes rolling in the back of her head. Like, that's the last shot of that movie, I believe. I think in later years, they might have changed that. But at the time when that shit was on VHS, that was the last scene that I remember in the movie, and I threw up all my food, okay? Because it really hit me that hard watching it. You know what I'm saying? And being so, you know, liking the music aspect and all of that. So it always broke my heart, y'all. And I knew I was going to be upset, so that's why I had to get my mind right to watch Andra Day play Lady Day, Billie Holiday, haha, in this movie. And apparently she didn't even want to do it. She didn't even want to do it. But her manager and Lee Daniels' manager made them sit down and meet with each other. And that's basically how they were forced to do this movie, okay? But it is an autobiographical drama film, okay? And it's based on the book Chasing the Scream, the first and the last days of the War on Drugs by Johann Hari. Now, I want to read this. I'm going to have to add this to my Audible list if they have it on there. Directed by Lee Daniels, the film stars Andra Day and Titular. Lord, I can't say that word. I cannot. Titular. Y'all know what they trying to say, right? They trying to say it's her first role. She never acted before this, okay? Jesus, all right? Just trying, you know, words we don't see often. I told y'all, it's not just Miss Wanda. I tried to sound it out, but I assume what it meant based on, you know, knowing that she had never been in another movie, okay? And them, it's a word describing the role, so I just assumed. Anyway, along with Trevante Rose, y'all, Trevante Rose is something fine, y'all. In this movie, you guys, let me see. You know what? Let me find a picture of Trevante, y'all, because Trevante, like, oh my God, one of the bright spots about this terrible movie, okay, was Trevante taking his shirt off. Okay, I don't know what type of ab muscles you gotta have, but that's just real, 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 real. Those were some deep abs, y'all. They were just in there. I can't find one of him without a shirt on, but I'm just gonna get a picture of the two of them because that was like her love interest, but he was also the person setting her up. So it kind of had, to me, that Judas and the Messiah vibe, where the FBI, uses other Black people to take prominent Black figures down because prominent Black figures were speaking out about the injustices that were going on. So you have Trevante here playing Jimmy, and Jimmy works for the Black folks at the FBI that work in the basement, and they go and infiltrate the jazz clubs and hang out with jazz musicians, and they respect these people, they look up to these people, but they also have to give the white FBI officers, who are completely being led by their own racial biases and them trying to keep Black people from having some type of agency in this country. Like, it's all about keeping Black people in their place and not upsetting white people. And it upsets white people for them to know that people are out here hanging Black people off of trees like it's nothing and getting away with it. And it was like really, really upsetting that was most of the main focus of the movie. You know what I'm saying? Not that it was upsetting. It should have been, because it really was about them not wanting her to perform Strange Fruit. But y'all, Trevante was giving me all types of Leon vibes. Like, it was, it was just real sexy, y'all. I was really feeling him, y'all. His abs again, like, oh my God, I wish I could find that picture when he took off his shirt in them. Girl, it was all right. I'm gonna move on from there. Okay, I'm gonna move on from there. But I think that the resemblance that Andra Day was able to have with the real Billie Holiday was uncanny. Her changing her vocal inflection, like, she already has a raspy voice, but adding that kind of soft purr, slurred kind of thing to it that Billie had going on. Like, I've listened to Billie talk in interviews, and I've always listened to her music throughout my life, so I know what her voice sounds like when she speaks, because there are live performances that will have talking before or after and things of that nature. So I know what her speaking voice sounded like, and that was not something that was even thought about doing in Lady Sings the Blues. And they really, really did a commitment to embodying the person, which is so difficult to do when the person has been dead for 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of us weren't even alive when this lady died, and Andra was able to embody her. Okay? Yeah, when the dog died. Child. Yeah, Billie really loved her dogs. Billie was also bisexual. That was something that they left out of the story. This is Natasha. I forgot Natasha's last name, but I love her. And she played Tallulah Bankhead. And it was rumored that Tallulah Bankhead and Billie Holiday, were a thing. But here's the thing. One thing that was consistent was that Billie was raised in a brothel. Her mom was a prostitute at some point. Okay. So, she had a hard life. A part that was left out was how much Billie had been to jail, even in her childhood. Like, they was putting little Black girls in jail, arresting them with the mama in the brothel. Like, she could have possibly been out here having sex with some grown ass man from her own, say so. Like, that doesn't happen, Natasha Lyonne, y'all. I had to look at my thing. Anyway, but I think Miss Lawrence did a really good job. I really like Devon Joy Randolph, who played Rosalind. They were friends. And Rob Morgan, who played Louis McKay. I love seeing him in serious roles, because I so often see him like in comedic kind of romantic comedy roles, Rob Morgan. But he did a really great job playing her man or whatever. Was it the no, that's not Tyler. No, hold up. Tone Bell. Yeah, no, Tone Bell is who I'm thinking about. Rob Morgan played the mean old man. Yeah, he's always been the mean old man who played Louis McKay. And they did that kind of messed up to me because Louis McKay was kind of like, you know, kind of a big guy, but kind of nice looking. He didn't have like that same hard look to him. Where you just looked at him and you were scared. Like, I feel like he kind of gave that vibe in the movie, but in real life, when you look at pictures of that man, he looks like somebody that, you know, might be charming when you meet them. That's not the vibe that Louis McKay, played by Rob Morgan, gave off at all. Okay. But Tone Bell is the one I was talking about that I see him in romantic comedies. But Lester Young, y'all, Tyler James Williams played Lester Young. Lester Young is the person that actually gave Billie Holiday her name. You know, calls her Lady Day, Billie Holiday, or whatever. It was after somebody else. Her real name is Eleanor Fagan, just so you know. But anyway, so yes, the movie. You guys, it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking, you guys. Yeah, y'all, Leslie Jordan. Yeah, Lil Chris. Y'all didn't know Lil Chris was in the movie? Yeah, y'all. He did a really good job. And he played somebody that was close to her. Like, they had played music and done music together for, you know, the majority of her career. She called him Prez. Billie Holiday called Lester Young Prez, and that's who he played in the movie. But you know what it made me realize? The whole movie made me realize, for one, when it comes down to it, white people really be out here trying hard as a motherfucker to stop black people from realizing their true potential and realizing who they really are and what they can do. They try to hold on to that little power that they think they have, so like they hold on to it so hard. This man spent his whole life showing up to this lady's performances, sitting on the front row just so he could try to take her down. And it wasn't even about drugs, because y'all were getting the drugs to plant on her. Like, they planted drugs on Billie Holiday. Yeah, she got down all the time. Honestly, the way she did drugs, it made me look at it differently. It made me think about the way people drink and smoke weed and smoke cigarettes more so than people that are like laying on the side of the road, falling asleep and shit. And that's because you're doing it to live. She even said at one time, I needed to live. And it wasn't just because it was a habit. It was because she was fighting so many demons and she was always scared. And I don't think I understood how scared she was until she had that performance and she looks out into the crowd and the whole back row is police officers, white police officers standing there with this man, this FBI agent. What was his name? Harry Anslinger, who ended up getting a Medal of Honor from John F. Kennedy. If that shit isn't ironic and hilarious, you know, but that's the bullshit of it all. Make you think we care, but really deep down inside, we're putting Medal of Honors on people that basically stalked and traumatized the black woman for her entire life because he didn't want her to perform a song that told the truth about what they were doing to us. Like, are you serious? Like, y'all, that was infuriating. It made me so mad to watch that. The entire time, it made me so mad to watch that. And honestly, it made me sad up until the last moment of the movie, but I didn't understand the fear. And I understand now that she did dope because, first of all, you're a jazz musician. You've been a musician since you was a kid, 14 years old. Before that, you were kind of being forced to pimp yourself out by your mom so that you could take care of yourself because, you know, it was too much going on at the time for black people to have any real, you know, stability. So your mom's a prostitute. They want you to be a prostitute. So you decide, I don't want to be a prostitute. I'm going to go and sing and I'm going to go and dance. So that's what she did. She always sang. So she went and sang, got jobs, started working, took care of her mom, took care of her, you know, took care of her people or whatever. But the drugs helped her maintain her mental while doing all of that. I wish I could have seen the portion of her life when it wasn't so much a part of her life, because I feel like every time we see a story about Billie, it starts like smack dab in the middle of her drug use. And I would like to see how that started versus how we just ended up there. But maybe that means that it was always something that she did. Like, you know, as soon as somebody showed it to her at like 16, now doing dope ever so often is a way of getting through scary moments for me. And she'd even say, you know, I had to get high. I wanted to put on a good show. You know what I'm saying? So feeling like she needed to be high to put on a good show, feeling like she had it, you know, she had to be Harry Anslinger is the FBI agent that made it his business to take her down, all for this war on drugs. I mean, everybody knows now that the war on drugs is bullshit. Like, everybody should recognize that at this point, you know what I'm saying? But Billie Holiday being a dope addict is no different than white people getting on pain meds nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's literally no different, except for the fact that it's far worse because it's a black woman having to use a drug in order to deal with all of the fucked up things that have happened to her in her life, even down to the relationships she had with people. Yeah, she was, you know, somebody that was sexually fluid and went both ways, but she also had really abusive relationships with men because most of her relationships with men throughout her life were completely transactional. And they tried to make you feel like something different happened with Jimmy. Like, he was somebody that really cared about her, even though he was the one that got her turned in the first time. Like, the first time we really see them, he had been hanging around and shit, going to see her. And then he helped them pop her one time when she had heroin on her, you know, because she would just be backstage and everybody would be there. She's like, all right, y'all know what time it is. So if you getting some, come on. If you not, get the fuck out, you know. They would just do drugs around people like it wasn't nothing. I was like, why is you doing drugs around this man and you don't know him? But I guess the mindset back there was, you know, they're gonna get me anyway, so fuck it. Like, so she was just doing drugs around him, but he was so infatuated with her that, you know, they kind of made him watch her. But eventually he felt bad. His mom even told him he was low down for that shit. Thank you so much, Fairy Prince. I'm getting more into detail than I really meant to, y'all. But ultimately, I really enjoyed what they were doing. Lee Daniels did an amazing job. Y'all know Lee Daniels is not always my favorite person, okay? But he even talked about in the interview talking about this movie and doing press, he talked about his own drug use. And I was like, you know, that makes sense. I had never really read that, but it made sense in my mind as to why I feel how I feel about him. Like, he has that kind of like angry, ego, maniacal energy that cokeheads can have sometimes. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat, y'all. Thank you for the meaningful breakdown. Oh, I'm glad y'all enjoy it because I hate to feel like I'm going on and on and on. But this is a review. If you ain't know, like, this is a review. Okay. I've been talking about it for 20 minutes. It's a review. Okay. So, what else did I want to say? So, besides them trying to make this romantic relationship happen that probably really wasn't, you know, real, I think it made me realize a few different things because first of all, let's talk about the lynching. Strange Fruit, the song, is about lynching. It's about what was happening all over the country that was being ignored. Similar to now. They call them suicides now when they hang people from things and then, you know, say that they did it themselves, as if black people have ever been like, yeah, I'm gonna hang myself from a tree today. No, that's not what we would do. That's not what we would do at all. So yeah, it's still something that we deal with all, you know, the time, it seems, not as much as we used to, but definitely still seeing it. And the fact that they won't make it a hate crime, that they won't sign that anti-lynch law. Like, I don't understand. Thank you so much for the super chat. Like, they tried to get it done back then. Now, you know, they're still trying to get it done in 2020. They tried to get them to vote on it and they still haven't reached a decision. Like, what the fuck? What needs to happen for you to say that this should not be done to people and that this is a hate crime? What needs to happen here? Like, why are you still trying to protect that? Like, that's upsetting to me that it's hard for a group of people in 2020 to outlaw lynching. I don't understand. It's very hurtful and bothersome to see that a fight that somebody basically worked and had a hard life for, like the sacrifice it took to keep performing that song. Like, her band had to take her off the stage when the police were running up because she refused to not sing the song. even when they threatened her family. Like, that's how the movie started, with the FBI sending threats and sitting in the shows in the clubs, sitting there staring at her and shit. And she would still get up there and sing the song like, oh yeah, fuck you. And in all honesty, it's the most gangster shit for somebody to spend most of their life in defiance of something that is so scary. They actively send in people in your life to infiltrate. Not only did they do that, but they would get her men. Like the men she would be fucking with. Oh, they get popped for doing drugs together. Oh, the police start talking to the man and telling them, oh, you got to tell her not to perform this song. You got to tell her not to perform this song. Then they would start planning, like people was planting drugs on her all the time. It was the police. It was men she was with. It seemed like, even friends probably. So I go back to when I read in that book what was left on her body. And I'm like, y'all put that in that book like that was something people needed to know, when it really wasn't a detail that anybody needed to know. And it's not a detail that anybody should have. But for a Black woman, y'all don't have the same amount of respect. So you're going to put in a book that the veins in her vagina were collapsed and she was handcuffed to a bed and she had the heroin taped to her leg with $10. Like, you wanted us to see her in this depraved way when she died, as if to give her no dignity. And at the end of this movie, y'all, this lady sits in a bed dying. Okay, she had sclerosis of the liver from all of the drinking and drug use. You beating your body up your whole life. By the time you get to 40, your body's tapped out. And then back then, you musicians, you're moving around, you don't have insurance, you don't know how to take care of yourself. Everybody's, just getting by. Like, nobody knows how to really take care of themselves in this time, the 1930s and 40s and 50s. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that's Reconstruction Jim Crow years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Black people were just trying to make it day by day without white people pulling them up on a tree. Okay. Doing anything outside of that was really feeling a desperation to have more and to do better, even in spite of all of the fear and the sadness that she must have felt because of everything that happened in her life. The dope thing, though, is so dark to me. That's where it takes me sometimes. But the truth of the matter is, when she was in that hospital bed and Jimmy comes in at the end, y'all, another thing is, it almost made me feel like Jimmy wasn't real, because Jimmy seemed to stay young while she aged. It was weird. But anyway, Jimmy comes into her room, and I think he gave her her last, dose or whatever before she died, succumbed to her illness, because her body was shutting down. But he gave her, heroin. So we see her, he's sitting there in the hospital room and everything is all like bright and kind of foggy and hazy. And I'm like, child, I remember being in pain in hospitals and how great that feeling is. So in that moment, I felt like, okay, what we thought happened and what they wanted us to think happened, it didn't really happen. Not the way they thought it did. It's all about how you think about things. So they thought they won because they have this lady handcuffed, no dignity whatsoever in her death, and dying broke and from her own drug use. Like she said, I can't blame anybody but myself. But she told them, y'all think y'all got something on me and y'all don't have shit on me. She was like, y'all don't have a damn thing on me. And she laughed at them. She laughed at them. Louis McKay puss ass won't bring his ass to her bedside all after the fact, trying to get her to, talk about this, or say whatever they want, say who our supplier was. And it's like, y'all don't care about who my supplier is. Y'all don't. You know why? Where did you get your heroin from? Where did you get your heroin from? It was all bullshit, y'all. It's all bullshit. You know why? Because the government knows who brings in the heroin, because they're the ones with the boats, that go back and be like, but come on now. Like, you really think the jazz musicians knew who brought the heroin from, Afghanistan or Mexico, where they got it from? Like, get the or Vietnam, where they had it abundantly and people from the war was bringing. Like, okay, never mind. Like, we're not even going to get into all the avenues in which you put drugs in people's communities and then try to act like they went out here looking for it. Oh, we got to find who the seller. We got to find who sold the drug. Nah, won't you find whose boat it was on when it got here? Follow the money and stop playing with us like y'all like to do. Okay, child, y'all put entire systems in place to make sure that people keep falling through fail safes, like to keep falling through traps. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it seemed like it do. I seem like y'all put big ass traps in place, and everybody just keep falling into the damn traps. So they was always watching the musicians. If you wasn't doing drugs or fucking with white women, they usually didn't have shit on you. That's why they couldn't do nothing to Louis Armstrong and them, even though they were listening in on them. And that's why later on we find out all of these details of their lives and shit. It wasn't just word of mouth. People had this information because they used to be listening to them people. But Snowflake, yeah, I see y'all talking about Snowfall, for example, right? Like putting it in the communities, like stop playing with me. Okay, so when I looked at it and thought about it, and when she laughed them off and she was like, your children will be singing Strange Fruit, at the end of the day, y'all don't even know who Harry Anslinger is, his little medal and everything. People will go on in life and never know who he is, never really care. They will always remember or know who Billie Holiday is more than they know who he is. He tried so hard to stomp her out. And the fact that her music lives on in such a way that she is considered the godmother of the civil rights movement because she continued to sing this song and call people's attention to what was going on with us. It was probably the first real example of somebody performing a song that talked about what was going on with Black people as far as racism. People didn't really talk about that in music. Music was, beautiful and love and supposed to make you feel better. It wasn't supposed to focus on the actual fucked up things. But the Jewish writers, they used to be having their own pain and shit. So they would probably, I just kind of feel like it was a lot of like Jewish writers back in the day. I'm not sure if the man who wrote this song was, because I don't want to be wrong about that. But I also know like Gershwin, like a lot of the Jewish writers and people who were composing the music for the jazz musicians to, actually sing and all of that type of stuff, the words. They understood it to a certain degree, so they were able to relate and they were able to look at what was going on and be real about it in a way that I think some white people may not have. And that's just my opinion. Yeah, he was Jewish. Okay, that's what I thought. And then he wrote under a different name and everything. So he really had to protect himself from writing the song Strange Fruit for her to then stand up on stage and perform and get all of the animosity, as if she wrote it herself, like get all the hate from it. And she kept performing it and she felt like it was her duty. And I feel like it's because of her that rappers now, that artists now in the 60s and in the 70s, all the way down to now can talk about anything that they want to talk about in their music. And that's why I don't get mad at people when they do that, because people died and fought for us to be able to express ourselves freely, even within music, which is a place where you feel like you should be able to say whatever you want to say. It's your creativity. But no, there was a point in time where if a white entity decided that you should not do that, they would sit on the front row of every fucking show and try to intimidate you into stumping out your light and doing what you wanted to do. And you did it anyway. And it was almost like he was trying so hard to stop her, and he still couldn't, and he doesn't even realize it. And it makes me think about something that Trina said on Love and Hip Hop. And I know, we don't even think that deep into nothing that happens over there. But when Trina said, when I got into the music industry and it was only like six female rappers, and now it's like, hundreds of female rappers. When she said that no matter how, men still try to keep women out, or to try and keep this mindset that, women can't do it as good as men and all of that, we still somehow take over. Black people and women still somehow persevere and get a little inch closer to having our equality amongst white men. I don't know if we'll ever fully get there, but we continue to pull and scratch and survive good times. And regardless to how much they try to get in our way, from what I can look back on, from what everybody has done, you know what I'm saying? And I look on it now, I feel like all of those little fights, it may be little to us when you look back on the number of them that probably was happening, but all of those fights that people fought within themselves and in their lives for our overall betterment did get us somewhere, and people so often forget that. But when you look at somebody like Billie Holiday, when you look at people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, who the FBI and police departments and the government went after and actively like intimidated on a daily basis with threats on their families and their lives, and these people still showed up for us. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit. Like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when you think about that, at the end of the day, that lady might not have died in the best way, but you know, you can't take it away from her. You can't take it away from her. You can't take that away from anybody. And I appreciate that. And that really made me feel some type of way. Y'all, I talked about this for way too long. Hey, Bondy musician here. You're right. There are a lot of Jewish writers back in the day, including the material for Strange Fruit. Thank you. That's what I thought. I had looked him up and kind of like, yeah, Abel Miracle. Yes, yes. J. Edgar Hoover was a cross-dresser. That is why he denied the mafia didn't exist. They had pictures of him. Oh, I know about that too. Child, they've been joking about that since the 90s. I can remember the first time I saw a reference to that was in Leslie Nielsen Naked Gun movie. And then and then Clue too. I think they made a reference to J. Edgar Hoover. But yeah, puss ass. Evil motherfucker. Evil. Strange Fruit poem written by Abel. Yes. That's the right name. Thank y'all for the super chat. I appreciate y'all. I really wanted to like give y'all a full understanding of what was going on in the movie. I don't want to forget to mention the scene where, you know, everybody's getting off the bus to pee in the field, and they hear screams and they find the woman hanging from the tree and her husband holding on to her body and the children screaming, "Daddy, please get mommy down from there." I mean, Andra and Rosalind. I mean, you know, everybody in this scene was emotionally affected. And when I was watching it, I was affected in the exact same way that Andrew, like as she's going through the scene, I went from the shock to the hurt to the anger and then back to the hurt again, like in almost the exact same order that she did. In that moment, if I was not sure before, I was like, this is an amazing movie. Lee Daniels has outdone himself. And Andra Day is going to get some type of Best Actress award from this. In that moment, I knew all of that. Because that is the point of a good, anything that's worth anything is to make you feel its intention. When it comes to music, art, those things, it's to make you feel the intention. And I feel like you felt everything they intended for you to feel. I feel like they were trying to exonerate Billie Holiday and kind of take this stigma off of her drug use and stop making her look like some dope addict that just so happened to get up and, you know, mumble through a few great songs. Like, no, bitch. Like, this is somebody that sang so many songs, so many different ways. There's so many recordings of the same song by Billie Holiday, 90 different ways. She worked so hard for such a long amount of time with people not paying you your money. You know what I'm saying? And you having to deal with men stiffing you in your life when you're just trying to have a relationship with somebody, but you don't know how because nobody taught you how, because your mama was a fucking prostitute and ain't nobody really been there for you. And already, you know, you've been scuffing and scratching for yourself and she was 10 years old. Like, it's a culmination of a hard life on somebody that still was able to persevere. And even though she died the way she did, we are talking about her. I have been greatly affected by her in my life. And she was dead for like, what? I want to say a good 40 years before I was born. Like, she died in 1959. So that was like 1960. No, 20 years. She was 30 years, basically. 30 years. Because like 28 years. Or so. 30, not 29 years. Yeah. So, you know, that says a lot. That says a lot. But it just also shows, yes, that racism robs you in so many different ways. And another thing before we move on, it's going to be a long video today, but y'all will be all right. I'm not about to break this up. Sorry, y'all, things are falling. another thing was, damn, that made me forget my thought about the scene where her and Tallulah Bankhead are at the like little gay lesbian hotel trying to go up to Tallulah's room, and the black man in the elevator tells Billie that she can't get on the elevator and she has to take the service elevator, and Tallulah says, I'll take it with you, and she was like, fuck that, I'm not going up here, because she like, you'll let the bulldaggers come in here and live their life, but you won't let my black ass come in here and live my life, and you black too. And he like, I need to keep my job. Now the look on this man's face hurt me so much, y'all, because so many black people had, and I think it put a bright light on that too, how many black people played a part in our oppression because they had to feed their families, keeping Billie out of a fucking elevator so that he could feed his family, the FBI infiltrating and basically being snitches on people that they respect and like and look up to. You know what I'm saying? Like Diana Ross's son Evan was in there playing another one of the FBI agents that had infiltrated the jazz scene, and he played himself, like played a nice little trumpet, and looked up to the people that he was giving intel on. Can you imagine the guilt and the pain and the heaviness that adds on all of those black people's lives, and then their families' lives when they go home, and that seeps out in the ways that it does? See, that's one of the things we talk about when we talk about the things that black people had to do out in the world. You know what I'm saying? That will cause them so much fucking stress, and then they take it home and it shows up in all of these different ways. You know what I'm saying? And one of those ways is drug use. People sometimes can't handle this shit. Shit's tough. Shit's hard. And I imagine it was even harder back then for a lot of people that's coming from sharecropping and prostitute, like bare base level shit. I ain't got nothing else out here. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Billie Holiday. Shout out to Andra Day, Lee Daniels, everybody that contributed to the film, because it was fantastic. It is an emotional tour de France, but it's definitely worth the watch. And I'm glad that Andra won her award, because I think she did amazing. Yeah. So can y'all benchmark this? So if people don't want to go all the way through this, they can go on to the next topic. But I thoroughly, I wanted to talk to y'all about it, and I hope it wasn't too much and I wasn't all over the place, but I just wanted to speak from a place of, how it really meant something to me personally. You know what I'm saying? Child, y'all talking about how we still doing this. Oh my God, I so appreciate you went back to see the elevator guy's anguish. My favorite scene. Yes, that I had to. 45 minutes. Yes, put that in there. We about to move on. I'm so happy we see her in a different light. Me too. I am too. And I feel like that makes me feel good. And I've been listening to her again all week. And it's so funny because I used to listen to her so much as a kid, and as a teenager, that now I don't listen to it as much, and I listen more to rap now than I used to. But when I put it on, I was like, oh my God, like I forgot how much I love this. And I'm just like, singing all the words and shit. I was like, I forgot I knew all the words to this shit. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on, y'all. Let's talk about Clifford, y'all. I guess go to Clifford first. Y'all, we're not going to spend too much time talking about Cliff, but we all going to talk about that mock documentary that was put out. I saw it on Lovely T's page. Okay, shout out to my girl, Lovely T. Okay, so T.I. from Jasmine brand. T.I. will not, I'm sorry, you guys. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, T.I. will not be appearing in Ant-Man 3 as the rapper and actor faces ongoing sexual assault accusations. It hasn't been confirmed that the decision is because of the allegations against him and his wife, Tiny Harris. Child, we know that's why. Okay, the third installment is in development and doesn't have a release date. All we know is T.I. will not be involved and his character will be cast. That is sad. That you can't come back for further movies. Okay, that comes after they shut down production on T.I. and Tiny Family Hustle, completely blocking us from watching the shit that went down with Tommy and LaToya Luckett, which annoys us. It wasn't just about them. Okay, I'm sorry. T.I. and Tiny were blasted by Sabrina Peterson. Okay, and earlier this week, Attorney Tyrone A. Blackburn said he received stories from 30 women survivors and witnesses as he called for an investigation against the couple Monday, March 1st. He added that he currently has 11 clients who accuse T.I. and Tiny of, and I quote, forced drugging, kidnapping, rape, and intimidation in at least 2 states. The accusations go back at least 15 years. T.I. and Tiny's lawyer, Steve Sadow, said in a statement, Clifford and Tamika Harris deny in the strongest possible terms these unsubstantiated and baseless allegations. We are confident that if these claims are thoroughly and fairly investigated, no charges will be forthcoming. The Harrises implore everyone not to be taken in by these obvious attempts to manipulate the press and misuse the justice system. So, we talked about it on the panel, and, you know, people were not happy with what a lot of us had to say about this situation. And I don't really care, y'all. Like, I don't care that y'all are mad that I, you know, need evidence and shit before I jump off the roof to go off on somebody about something so serious that I really don't have any proof of just yet. And the documentary, the mock documentary that they put together, I feel like that's a tactic used to give a face to a story. And even though I feel like that is useful in the court of law in some instances, I feel like in this situation, it feels a little manipulative. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all have seen the mock documentary that has been floating around, you know, and they're using T.I.'s voice at the beginning and all of that type of stuff. T.I. has done some terrible things. Tiny is a glutton for punishment, which makes me feel like if they're into something like this, she would be with him because it's something that they like to do together, which whenever there's some weird ass, you know, crazy couple, people, some Quentin Tarantino movie people, like... You know, they always want to do stuff like this together. And a part of their attraction to one another is their like for this, you know, debauchery. Okay. So I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm really not saying that at all, y'all. I'm not even saying that I think it's not happening. I'm just saying I need more than what is being given currently for me to jump on a bandwagon of this severity. That's all I'm saying. Bondi, I feel you. It is a PR tactic. It's definitely manipulative. Did you catch all the light and curly women featured in that stock footage? Yes. Everybody's thin. Everybody, you know, they all look the same. It was all like light-skinned black girls with long hair. You know, it definitely gave a manipulative tea. You know what I'm saying? And I still feel like y'all know we're asking for real faces and people and names and dates and times. So y'all are giving us this in this New York Times post, and I'm giving it more energy by talking about it. But, and also, you know, T.I. losing more opportunities is also, you know, not a good look at all. But I feel like they be ready to throw black people in the street to get rolled over whenever something like this comes up. They only fight for their white counterparts, you know, like when Ben Affleck and Damon, all of them fought for Harvey Weinstein. Don't think I forgot about that shit. At the, you know, like when people be trying to act like people didn't fight for them. Yes, they did. That's how that shit stayed a secret and stayed undercover for so long, because there were, you know, other people that were a part of it that were using like all of these, you know, intimidation tools to make these women stay quiet and just take money and all of that type of stuff. Other producers talking to them about shit, keeping them out of movies and all of that type of stuff. Like that shit was actually happening, like to this white man as well. But it took all of that. It took years and years and years, and so many people coming out saying the shit and actually being and putting faces. It wasn't just nameless people. You had to actually see the faces and see the women talking about it. That's why Russell Simmons not coming back. Okay? Like, you need actual people in these situations in order for people to believe it, y'all. You can't just say, you can't put some shit up on Instagram stories and then the next week put up a mock documentary and then list, you know, oh, okay, these specific times, fine. But that's it. You're not giving us people. Y'all not giving us names. Y'all not giving us actual police reports in any places. Like, the truth of the matter is this is all substantial. And that's, you know, problematic for somebody to feel like they want to go 100% one way. That's all I'm saying. And I do understand them not revealing themselves out of fear of backlash. I get that, but this is the way the cookie crumbles. Like a lot of the times you need that connection, especially if you don't want to believe something is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm not saying I don't look at them and feel like this is something that definitely could be true. I've said that over and over again. But you know. Yeah, people still people still do drugs in front of people too. I was a babysitter for a few people and it wasn't nice. I had to get away from them. Yeah, like people need to realize the difference between drugging somebody and providing drugs for someone. Exactly. That too. And that's the fine line as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I also feel like when people are under the influence in such a way, it leaves it open for people to take advantage of them. And that just because T.I. and Tiny may not have done it, I also heard that, you know, security guards and people around may have done things. And when you think about that, I definitely don't count that out. I don't count that out at all because that happens all the time. Right. Get the facts. Get evidence and proof, then make your own judgment. That's where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what grown adults should do. The best thing the lawyer said was if T.I. and Tiny aren't guilty, then they have nothing to worry about. But the kicker is T.I. and Tiny's lawyer tried to come to a settlement, which the woman's lawyer said in the conference. Really? You know what? I think because they were losing opportunities already, they were trying to quiet it, but that also does not look good on their behalf. It doesn't. But a lot of people try to, like, you know, quiet things and just kind of throw money at them in order to get the shit to shut up. But now it's already loud and out there. So to me, I would fight the shit to the death before I give them hoes anything if I ain't really do the shit. So that means, you know, like I said, I am inclined to believe. I just can't jump and be like, you know, you know, I'm not doing all that right now. No. I'll wait. Okay. Let's move on to another weird and, you know, messed up story. Soulja Boy, tell him what is weird looking at. Okay. So while Soulja Boy is facing disturbing claims from his former assistant, his ex-girlfriend Nia Riley has also made allegations against him. Again, Nia, again. Soulja Boy and Nia Riley dated on and off for multiple years while they were on Love and Hip Hop. Y'all know that. They was on Marriage Boot Camp in 2019. Y'all remember that? Now she's coming forward with the alleged abuse she suffered from the rapper during their relationship. She alleged during an interview with Tasha K that he kicked her while she was pregnant. He absolutely knew. I feel like we've heard this before. He absolutely knew I was pregnant. I was like 15 weeks. I don't think I had told anybody else that I was pregnant because truthfully, in my mind, I didn't know what I was going to do or what I wanted to do. And I was in LA, so I had some time. She continued, I'm not sure what time it was that it happened, but I know for sure it was that night, late that night, maybe early morning. I remember I had put a towel on the bed. Soulja Boy is currently facing accusations from a former assistant who alleged that he sexually assaulted her multiple times. She also accused him of holding her against her will. You know, I've talked about that previously. Soulja Boy released a statement denying the claims and threatened legal action. I vehemently and unequivocally, they love using unequivocally, denied these allegations. I am in contact with my legal team and the appropriate legal action will be taken against these lies. Okay. Soulja, a rep for the rapper said Soulja would never put his hands on a female. Lies. He wouldn't beat a woman or put his hands on a woman. This is nonsense. No, lawyer man, you are with the nonsense because I feel like we all saw what happened on Marriage Boot Camp. Am I the only one who feel like we saw what happened on Marriage Boot Camp? I haven't seen one on Russell Simmons, but I don't need to see it in order to understand something about that creepy ass old man. Like I've seen creepy ass old men. I know what creepy ass old men look like. Some of y'all like creepy ass old men, so y'all don't see them for the creeps that they can be sometimes. Okay, you know, with your daddy issues and stuff. Her screaming still haunts me, bro. That scream, she. Oh my God, y'all. Yeah, I don't believe Soulja Boy. I'm waiting for all of this to come to a head because I feel like it's been going on for the damn longest. Like, when is all of this going to come to a head? Because he's always getting into, you know, these situations with women. You don't never see him getting into no altercations with men like that. Anytime there's a fight with a real man, he runs. Okay. But whenever it's with a woman, you got all the energy and brush up that you want to. I swear we all wish that we could have seen Dime beat your ass like a skinny stripper on a Good Friday night stealing my client. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to see it. Okay. Anyway, let's move on from that. To Safari and Erica Mena. Okay. I talked about them too last week. Was it last week or was it? Yeah, it was last week. Today is Wednesday. It was last week. Y'all, the days run together. Yes, they do. Okay. Erica Mena isn't looking for advice on her marriage, despite her husband Safari Samuels publicizing that he wants to leave their union. She tweeted on the 2nd, which was yesterday. I don't run to y'all about my marriage issues, so please save the energy on giving me advice. I know what's what. I do what's best. And if I'm not the best version of myself for whatever reason, that isn't fair to my kids. My kids come before every and anything. She continued, energy I will always have. Never has a relationship made me or broke me. RT if this is true for you. Her tweets come just days after Safari revealed on Twitter that he thinks getting married was the biggest mistake of his life. Erica Mena also replied back then, don't let this Scorpio sting. Out of respect for my daughter and to honor my growth as a woman, I'm going to get back to doing what I do best, which is make money and be only about my business. Entertaining social media with my issues isn't my thing. Girl, I beg to differ. Since you always run to social media like a little girl, I might as well join in. I absolutely agree with you on this. You are the most selfish, vain, and inconsiderate person, and not just with me, but with your daughter. And so then, like, first of all, let's just say, I already say I'm happy to see that they're about to break up, but that made me want to bring y'all this story, which was a kiki. I'm sorry. I thought it was funny. Did I erase it by accident? Oh, I erased it by accident. Let me go find it again, y'all. I have to find it because I thought it was hilarious. And so messy of Deborah. Okay, y'all, look at Deborah on the screen scaring everybody. When she fled her nostrils like that, everybody gets scared. But yeah, like she gonna go off in a second. All right, so Deb Adney might have been Nicki Minaj's manager in the early days of her career, but she revealed that she had no idea the Yikes rapper was in a long-term relationship with Safari Samuels at the time. During her appearance on Drink Champs, Deb Adney said, I never knew her and Safari was going together. I thought Safari was a gay guy that she hung out with. And he was it's the Marlo voice, y'all. And he was a helper. She never showed affection. You know what I'm saying? And she added, when I was booking her out, she was like, Deb, I need 2 rooms. But the 2 rooms wasn't for him because she would get dressed in the other room. But I didn't know that they went together. I never knew until he took my car from her. And she called me to lock him up. And then he called me, and that's when he broke down everything. Okay? He put his career, hold on. What did he say? Let me make sure I read that. Okay, the growing up hip hop Atlanta star explained he put his career back for her, you know. He told me that. They put everything into her to let her go. Listen, people may not want to believe that they dated for 12 years. People may not want to believe that, but I do. I really do believe that he put a lot into her, and that was his mistake. Because nobody should put all of their life into somebody else's dream. But I don't think he's the gold digger that people make him out to be. So years after their split, he suggested Nicki Minaj was allegedly physically and verbally abusive. He said back in 2018 that his life revolved around her. I didn't really have a life outside of that. I was really comfortable, but then the fights and stuff, it was getting too crazy. I was like, you know what? I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to the hospital. He then alluded to abuse. I'm not going to have hands put on me and in the verbal. It takes a while to get over that. So I think it's funny that Deb thought he was gay. Like, the only reason I feel like that Deb is used to being around such hardened felons. Anybody that doesn't look like they're full of toxic masculinity. Yeah. But listen, that I don't think Safari's gay. You gotta do all that. But he does have a level of bitch assness about himself. And I think that is showcased in his relationship with Erica. But I also think it's funny he continues to pick women like this, because you're saying the same thing about Erica now. I don't want to have to go to jail, that you're saying, that you said about Nikki back then. So Safari, I need you to ask yourself, what is it about you that attracts women that, results in you possibly ending up in ICU or ending up at the jail? What's going on there? I think everybody always wants to tell women how they need to like check their daddy issues and shit, but no, sir, you need to check your mommy issues. You need to check your mommy issues hella hard, okay? But I do believe that he put everything into her, and I do believe she probably was emotionally and physically and verbally abusive towards him. And I think he had a softer temperament than she did. Even though he's Jamaican and all of that type of shit, he grew up around a lot of women, his sisters, his mom. So I feel like Safari probably was somebody that's softer. And as soon as women start talking to him crazy, he kind of drifts into that asshole thing that he likes to do. And his bitch assness really comes up high. It's like a bitch assness that just comes up. But I really do feel like Safari needs to go to therapy and choose better. But we all know the law don't care what happened to a black woman, like the young woman who was strangled by a white football player. Since her interview, have we heard nothing? Girl, I don't know what you talking about in this comment, but it's true. You know what I'm saying? We talking about so much stuff. I don't know what you're talking about, but it's true. He's a wait, hold up. He's a beta male, and that's why he attracts those type of women. Yeah, but you know what? It also has to be the type of woman that will not abuse you because you are a beta male and she's an alpha female. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm an alpha female and Lyric is a little bit more toned down than myself. You know what I'm saying? And definitely is, supportive in that same way. But at the same time, I would never degrade him. I would never verbally make him feel less than a man. I would never talk down to him like that in front of people. Like if we get into it, we get into it, but it would never be this up here like, oh, bitch ass. Like I'm not gonna do all that to you without warrant. You gotta talk to me crazy first of all, and then I might lose my shit on you. But ultimately, I'm not gonna just be out here talking to you any kind of way, even when I am mad. And I also don't put my hands on him like that. We have gotten into tussles, but it's because he likes to play too much. And you always want to play when I'm upset. And I'm telling you I'm upset, and I tell you to stop, and you want to play. Yeah, y'all big dudes love to play because y'all think when little women get upset, the shit is cute. That's what y'all like to do. And that's y'all partially the reason why they think that shit cute. I don't want to be upset. Don't make me mad. I don't want to be upset. And I know I can't beat your ass, but I also know that you ain't about to beat my ass. So I know this. But you stop playing too much. Y'all play too much because y'all want to be all heavy with the hands and the arms and y'all playing. Y'all not hitting nobody. But stop. Like, okay. So I feel like there's some double-sided things going on here. But I think it's important as a woman, when you know you are that type of woman, to be mindful of the way you speak and not to be so harsh with your words with your mate all the time like that. But like, you motherfuckers gotta stop being sensitive all the time too, because y'all tell women to step their pussy up all the time, and and we be having to do it. So I just would kind of like for y'all to do that as well sometimes. Erica Mena has a horrible reputation and has nothing but bad relationships. Her and Evelyn are the same poisonous person. Probably, but I don't feel that way exactly. Like I don't dislike Erica as much as I dislike Evelyn. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I do feel like they probably have certain isms that are the same for sure. But I don't know if I feel that vitriol towards Erica the way I feel it towards Evelyn. Something, I don't know. But what I will say is, people like to think that when you are vocal or you're not gonna let nobody talk to you any kind of way, or even when you get into it in, you know, in relationships on social media or on reality shows, y'all tend to think that that means that women are always the aggressor in arguments, or they're always the person that's in the wrong. But they get with men who know how to quietly gaslight and manipulate. They know how to get like, that's the thing about being opposites. If I'm always loud with my aggravation, that usually means he's going to be quiet with his. He's not going to always going to match my loudness with his aggravation, and that's Erica, Mena, and Safari. Okay, like he's going to come, you know, at me a different way. He's going to be passive aggressive. He's going to do little stupid slick shit, like not do something I need him to do. Or he going to make little comments under his breath. He's not going to scream and holler like she's going to. That does not mean that she's always wrong. And I feel like people love to do that to me. Like even in my family, assume that if something is wrong, all of the patience, all of the consideration has to be given to Lyric because Brittany is matter of fact. You know what I'm saying? I've noticed that people like to do that and assume things about me because of how they view me just on YouTube. So I can only imagine how people assume things about Erica based off of what they've seen on reality shows. And nobody knows how relationships are but the two people that are in them. I just want to say that. Nobody really knows what a relationship is like except for the two people in the relationship. Okay. Drew Sidora's husband. Yeah, he's similar to that, but I also feel like when the cameras aren't around, he matches in loudness. I don't think it's a quiet thing, but he definitely gaslights. I don't know why Deb always wearing her mask under her nose. It don't make sense to me either. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about was the new girl that they added to Real Housewives of Potomac. And it seems as if Real Housewives of Atlanta producers have allegedly cast a female comedian. I don't know who it is, but apparently they have cast someone new. Are we still taping this season? So is it going to be in this season? They're not saying. They're just saying they cast a comedian. I wonder who it is. I would be excited to find out who that would be. Because I feel like they need to add somebody else to the dynamic. You know what I'm saying? But they're adding Mia Thornton. I don't know who the hell that is. She's a marketing director. She owns a beauty cosmetic company. She's super cute. She's friends with Ashley Darby. And she's going to be joining Real Housewives of Potomac. So we'll have a new face on Real Housewives of Potomac. I'm going to show y'all what she looks like. This is her, Mia Thornton. Okay. So we'll see how she works out. Because y'all know I'm still going to review Real Housewives of Potomac, even though Monique is not there anymore, and that's my girl. But it's okay. We still going to be there. I still got to get my check. Like, and Karen's still there, beat. Okay, y'all, let's talk about Tyrese's strange wife, Samantha Lee, right quick before I skedaddle out of here because this video has been ultra long. But I really wanted to, talk to y'all about the Billie Holiday thing. So that was the bulk of the video. But anyway, Tyrese and Samantha Lee are in the middle of a divorce. And it's safe to say that she may not move on with a fellow celebrity in the future. Okay, the two were married for 4 years when they announced their split. Isn't this the same one that he kept calling his African queen or his black queen? Is she not black? Okay, ain't this her? Oh, you bored already? I'm sorry you bored with this topic. Okay, listen, I'm going somewhere with this. Can you hold on? Okay, Tyrese and old girl, or you may bored with the Real Housewives of Potomac choice. Or girl, I don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all be behind in the comments. I be behind. I don't be knowing, child, whatever. But anyway, she basically said, no, I think a lot of women want a certain type of notoriety and being with a certain guy. That's not where your worth comes from. That's not where your validation comes from. Your worth comes from God and God alone. It doesn't matter who you are with. I think women make a lot of athletes and entertainers and wanting to be with a certain kind of guy. You got into the high value men thing, which I've been hearing a lot about, high value men. I'm not saying these guys are bad, but you you also have to understand that these guys are self-made men. There's a lot of women that want these men. So at the end of the day, these men are accustomed to getting their way. They're able to pick and choose, and they're able to do whatever. A lot of women go into a situation saying, hey, I want that kind of guy, not understanding that these guys are the pick of the litter. They ain't gonna put up with everything. You're gonna have to settle and compromise and work things out within yourself before they feel like they can do that too. I think she broke it down perfectly, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I thought that it was the right way to put it. The high value shit just means getting with a man with money and with more access than the average man or whatever. Okay. I don't live by that. Like I don't live by that. Okay, obviously. I'm a go-getter my damn self. I would love for my partner to match my energy, but I also feel like there are so many other things that are important in a relationship. That's not my main focus like that, because I've always been, I'm gonna get it no matter what. So I can't be worried about what somebody else is doing. But I can only say what I need and what I want. And if you can arise to that, great. If you can't arise to that, then we're gonna have to reevaluate situations. Okay. That's how I've always been about my relationships. I don't take shit. I don't take shit. And I don't like when people tell women that they have to take shit. You know what I'm saying? We all take an amount of shit, okay? Because nobody's going to like everything about a person. And people aren't 100% considerate at all times, especially when you are in long-term relationships and marriages with them. But I love the way she put it, because I do feel like a lot of young women are running to be in relationships, or thirsty like B. Simone to be in relationships with high value men. And y'all want women to shift and move and mold themselves into a specimen that a high value man would want, all for them to get into these relationships and get treated like absolute dog shit, because the man feels like, yes, I am high value, so I am the prize here. Tyrese feels like that. That's why I would never fuck with a man that feels like, and I say that you're prettier than me, but what that really means, that's not what it means. What does it mean then? What does it mean then? Oh, no. I'm not saying she don't have nothing. I'm not saying that about her. Maybe y'all are commenting to somebody in the comments, because I don't even think I spoke on that. I was just saying that the under 40 crowd gets harder later. High value men is a very abused phrase. Yes, it is. But in most of the YouTube videos and conversations that I see, y'all are talking about men that can provide you with a certain amount of stability. That's what we're talking about here. It means a man with integrity and morals. Child, that's what it means to you. That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about. That's why I keep doing this, because value is placed on what you find valuable. So if you find really comfortable lives, vacations, expensive clothes and gifts, and luxury lifestyle is something that's valuable to you, then that is what you're going to seek out. But here's the thing. There is nothing wrong with wanting that. And I need for women to not feel bad about that, and for men to not make women feel bad about that. No, I don't want a child. No, I don't want somebody that's not on my level. No, I don't want somebody that wants more from me than they're willing to give themselves. No, I don't want that. And I shouldn't have to want that. And nobody should be browbeating me into wanting that. I don't like that y'all make women feel bad for wanting more, especially Black women, because you never make white women feel bad about wanting a man that can provide a certain standard of a lifestyle for her. Y'all don't make white women feel bad about that. So I don't like that y'all make Black women feel bad about that shit. Not everybody wants to be on good times with y'all. Not everybody wants to scratch and survive, especially when you are in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s. Nobody is getting into a relationship with a 30 or 40-year-old man that has nothing to offer. That is bullshit, okay? Now, the high value shit is based on your value level. And I think that goes for every person differently, okay? But I do feel like what she meant was, you get with these men with money and you think that that's all that really matters, is that they can give you access and they might shower you with gifts when they want to, but they talk to you bad. They feel like they can go and fuck on anybody they want to. Like, they handle you bad because to them, they are the prize. That is why a lot of old ladies sitting under the tree will tell you that your husband needs to love you a little bit more than you love him, because men take so much, they have to love you so much more in order to act right as much as women do. They have to love you so much more in order to act right. Okay, women can love you, you know what I'm saying, within reason, and still treat you way better than the man that loves them in that equal way. Okay, so people may not want to admit that, but to me, the old lady sitting under the tree and told us that, and I feel like that is in some ways very true. That men have to be a lot more into you. So for me, I feel like I don't like that space of men feeling like because you have money, that means you get to dictate everything, or you have some overall power over me or this relationship. I would never want to be in a space like that. And I was taught never to put myself in a space like that. So when people talk about being with high value men, I think, and even when B. Simone was telling y'all, y'all should also have what y'all want from other people. It's not that it's a bad thing. It's just that it's not mandatory. For me, it's not a bad thing, because I don't want to be with somebody that thinks they can hold their money over my head, because you will never be able to do that. Okay. My mama used to say all the time, I will go live in a studio apartment before I stay anywhere and be uncomfortable or unhappy. I'll go stay at a motel, bitch. I'll go stay, down to the car before I stay anywhere that I am unhappy. I learned that and heard that my entire life from my mom. So to me, happiness and peace is what is valued, and all of those other things, I'm saying, how much money a man makes, how he treats you, all of those, how much he does in the household, how much is shared, how much he lightens your load, how much you lighten his load. It's supposed to be a partnership. So we're supposed to be trying to make each other happy, but wow, y'all, my mouth right, while at the same time maintaining our own happiness separately. Okay, I'm supposed to be happy, you're supposed to be happy, and we're supposed to come together and make each other as happy as we possibly can. Okay, but the idea that we need to like fix each other all the time and all that, no, we're supposed to be support systems. But men shouldn't feel like they should control women and all of that shit, and women shouldn't feel like they have to be in relationships in order to have certain lifestyles and then give up all of these other things that they don't want to give up, like their respect. Okay, or their overall happiness, because they have a lot of bitches that's up in nice houses that want to kill themselves. Okay, I've seen it. Exactly. I saw nothing wrong with what she said, especially being celeb. There's nothing, another layer of privilege on top of having money, and people never telling them no. Right. Yeah, I thought I love what she said. It was spot on. And I feel like you rarely hear women talk about it in that way. But she definitely just said, these egos ain't worth it sometimes. You know what I'm saying? The things you have to deal with these men, it's not worth it sometimes. That's why people be like, child, I'll have a man that work down to the energy company, or, got a little nice pension set up and got a nice little life, or a little entrepreneur own a nice little store or something. They on their way up, like there's nothing wrong with getting people while they're on their way up. There is nothing wrong with that. But women have to stop feeling like once a time frame has been met that they have to stay there just because they've been there so long. Fuck all that. Okay? If people aren't arising to the occasion after certain benchmarks, it's time to, rethink situations. That's all. And I think that's what she did. That's why her and Tyrese not together no more. And honestly, I feel like he probably was the one that got left, because she got tired of him crying and acting crazy all the damn time. What more do you want from me? Nigga, a break. Peace. Get away from me. The worst thing a man can do with me is flex his money muscle. Your money only takes you so far with a woman with grounded values and self-esteem. Child, I ain't gonna tell y'all the person that tried to throw their money at me. We went on a lunch date And he called himself throwing his money at me. And I looked at him like, boy, if you don't stop playing with me, like that shit is cute, but that don't do nothing for me. That don't do nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just don't. And somebody didn't came at me like that before. People came at me like that many times before. And there were other things that scream no to me louder than you having money. Like I didn't see, men that want to pay for everything, pull out chairs and, throw their whole wallet at your pussy. All of that type of stuff. And then what happened? They want, disrespect you. They hoes. They got crazy behind the eyes. A lot of things. I went through that with my ex when I was younger, and because he made the money while I was looking for a job, he felt like he could treat me how he wanted to because I wasn't working. It was a nightmare. It happens. I'm saying it happens more often than not because that's the position that men feel powerful in. And the thing about this society is when people feel powerless in certain areas, the places that they do have power, they like to exact that power over people. It makes them feel better about the fact that they lack it in other ways. You know what I'm saying? It's almost insulting, right? Money is definitely not worth everything. No, it's not. But I think people that struggle have a different concept of that versus people like myself that never had to struggle that bad, but watch struggle, saw struggle. I've seen it. I've been close to it. I've stood in the middle of it. Okay. But I've never actually had to live it. I've always been provided for, therefore providing for myself to that level. And now for me, only better. You know what I'm saying? But it's not always like that. And when people have lived in immense poverty, they have such a need to never go back to that they almost don't understand that the middle ground is not as bad as they think it is. People sometimes feel like, oh, I need to have all of this. And I'm just like, I'd like to have a few things. I'm not gonna lie. Like I tell you all the time, my beach house. And nobody is gonna stand in the way of that. Nobody. That's for me and I am for it. High value men and Black femininity are so overused. They are setting Black women up to be abused, but while wearing pink and Chanel earrings. Please also have your own along with your self-worth. Yes, and if you're going to be a wife that's taken care of, there's nothing wrong with that, but please make sure you always have your own. Please make sure you're never in a place where you're stuck, and if you want to leave, you can't. Why y'all talking about Boosie? What about him? Some men will not talk to women that have moved than them for that very what? I don't know what that means. Exactly. Don't settle. Stay on your path and believe in yourself. The person God has for you will find you. I finally caught a live. Thank you, Chocolate Padilla. Y'all must be listening and watching these fake femininity channels. I don't. I hear a lot about it because my ear is to the streets at all times. But there is some truth. Just because people be out here spitting shit to make money and all of that don't mean there isn't some truth in some of the things that they say. And the truth of the matter is everybody should not be willing to struggle with a nigga his whole life in order to prove that she loves him. Nobody should have to go through that. Nobody should be expecting Black women to not have everything that they want, deserve, and desire in this world just because it makes you feel unhappy because you can't provide that. Like, that's not my fault. I still want it. Figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to figure it out for myself. But if you want to provide it for me, which and to be in this position, you need to provide it for me, then you need to figure that shit out. Okay, God bless the child that's got his own. Got his own. Okay? Y'all always want somebody to struggle. Fuck all that. And I don't like that. That's that trope in Tyler Perry movies and shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I gotta struggle with a man. Nah, you better get your together. I could be just fine by myself. I don't have to struggle. Thank you so much for the super chat, Aisha. Pronounced Aisha. I appreciate that. JJ Jersey, hey girl, if the money is not in my bank account or my pocket, your money is not doing nothing for me. Okay, I know that's right. If it's not materializing around me, okay. I do think Black women's femininity is impacted by our inclination to mule and be both parents. So nah, it ain't fake. I agree. I agree. And I do feel like society and everything we've had to deal with because of racism and because of the way people view femininity. I was watching Julesy the other day and she was talking about the way femininity is actually looked at in this country is, you know, based off a white power structure. It's based off of a white woman and her fragility and her ability to blush and show that she's embarrassed. Like all of that, you know, oh, you can trust that she's embarrassed because you can tell on her face because her face is white. So when the blood rushes to her cheeks, you can see it. Like that's where that shit actually comes from. This whole fragility bullshit. And because black women are brown, our skin does not flush in the same way. So we don't even fit and never were supposed to fit into the criteria for what femininity is in this society and what that looks like in this society. That's why I feel like people should do way more like studying and research and reading history books, you know, on Audible if you need to, like me because I'm blind, about you know, just the history of African civilizations prior to slavery, because they don't teach us that in school. And I think people need to understand what matriarchal societies actually look like to understand that, yeah, there were actually societies where women did not have to be the abused and oppressed in order for the society to keep rolling. Okay, women were actually doctors and medicine women and you know, heads of their tribes and households. I mean, even like the tribe that decided they didn't want fool la la with the men no more. I forgot the name of the tribe, but it's like a tribe of all women that separated themselves from the men, and the men will come and see them and say hey and shit, but then they gotta go back over there. And some of them are mad about it, but you ain't never seen them run over there to like rape and kill nobody. They just be like, all right, I'm mad, but they can be over there if they want to. You know what I'm saying? Other sets of people will go over there and rape and kill everybody because they didn't want to be together. You know what I'm saying? So even the mindset, even when applied, can sometimes be different in Africa and, you know, amongst people who are melanated. Like we really did live different types of lifestyles and we've been kind of forced into the one that we live in here. And I don't think that always works with who we are as a people. Who want them a high New Orleans woman like me? I'm about to say I have a high value man, okay? I like him. It's our anniversary this week, you guys. We actually make 4 years of marriage on Friday. So y'all probably, you know, y'all won't see me on Friday. Y'all usually don't see me on Friday. Y'all should usually see me on Saturdays. Anyway. So yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm leaving it all up to him. So I don't even know what we're gonna do. We might not be doing nothing, but that's cool because it's always a vibe around here. You know what I'm saying? It's always a vibe around here. Every day it's a vibe around here for the most part, especially when I can get him to not be overworked. You know, it definitely is always a vibe. They mutilated. Yeah, the women was trying to tired of being mutilated. Thank y'all so much for telling me happy anniversary. I appreciate that. Don't forget you can support my channel. You know what I'm saying? I'm just putting it out there. It's not forcible or anything like that, but you know, it will be greatly appreciated. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. March 5th is is moving. Is my anniversary 16. Happy anniversary, Lynn Davis. Hey, have a naked anniversary. Child, listen. The way it goes down around here. Like I said, as long as he ain't tired, as long as he is well rested, it's always a vibe around here. Okay. If there's anything we know how to do, we know how to do holidays and special occasions. Okay. But yeah, y'all, I'm done. This has been a good conversation, an hour and a half. I did not mean to be on here this long. I hope the people who catch the playback enjoy the conversation as well. From the Billie Holiday situation, everything we talked about to at the end, talking about, you know, women and everything and, you know, our societal norms and all of this feminism and, you know, all this talk. I love y'all so much. I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all have a good rest of y'all day. And I will see y'all tomorrow for the Ooh Ladies First panel. Y'all, please don't forget to show up 8:15 on my channel. Talk about Married at First Sight and everything that comes on tonight. So yeah, hope to see y'all there. and maybe I'll come back for another Bondi Blue show either tomorrow or Saturday. I'm gonna wait and see because like I don't really feel like anything is actually taking place like that. But y'all know y'all can always send me things on Instagram if y'all follow me there. This entire conversation was great. Have a great anniversary. Thank you so much. I love y'all. No clothes all day. Yes. Who run the world, girl? Okay. Thank you, Shanita. I appreciate you. All right, y'all. Have a good one. See y'all later.